Hi, and welcome to BremSter Puzzles, a channel where I try and showcase the fun that could be had in the world of variant Sudoku. And today I'm doing that with another Sudoku U puzzle, this one being Glowworms by Froggy. Now this is a puzzle where there are so many rules in this puzzle that there is no way I could have put them in the box without the font being this big and you couldn't read it on a screen that wasn't like huge. So what I've done is I've put a list of the rules, and in the description of the video and in the puzzle link there will be full rules. Now I'm also going to go through the full rules, but just putting a summary above in the box above is enough for people who are familiar with the rules. If you're not familiar, check the video description or the puzzle link itself, where all the rules are fully detailed. So I will go through the rules in a minute. Now this, of course, is a puzzle in the Sudoku U series. Now this puzzle was set by Froggy, who is a student in, I'm assuming it was a student in Full Deck and Missing a Few Cards as Puzzles and Paradoxes class, which is where these puzzles came from. Now I'm assuming also that at some point this puzzle will be published in the Signet Sudoku Volume 3 book. When that will come, I don't know. As soon as I know, I will let you know. But in the description below, there will be a link to where you can get Signet Sudoku Volume 1 and 2 available for free, and as soon as Signet Sudoku Volume 3 is available, it will be posted on Full Deck and Missing a Few Cards' website, which is also linked below. But let's have a look at Glowworms, because it's going to take a while to go through the rules. So let's have a look. So normal Sudoku rules apply. So into every box, into every row, and into every column, the digits 1 to 9 must be placed without repetition. Now, the entire grid is covered with fog. As correct digits are placed, so if we were to put a correct digit here, this cell, as well as all of the cells around it, will have the fog removed, and we will be able to see the constraints beneath it. Okay, X sums. The clues outside the grid give the sum of the first X digits, where X for X numbers placed in the corresponding row or column. So this 19 gives the sum of X digits in this column, where X is the digit in the cell next to the X sum clue. So what that means is, for example, if this was a 4, the 19 would be in those 4 digits. If this was a 6, and I have to use small digits because I don't want to guess it correctly and reveal fog. If this is a 6, the 19 would be the sum of those 6 digits. But that's how it works. Similarly, if this was a 3, then the 10 would be the sum of those 3 digits. But if this was a 2, then 10 would be the sum of those 2 digits. That's the way X sums works. Palindromes. Somewhere in this grid, there will be grey palindrome lines. I'm going to use yellow for all of my lines for describing them because it'll stand out better, I think. If this was a palindrome line, is that going to work? No, that is not going to work. It might work if I do that. If this was a palindrome line, then the digits on this line would have to read the same forwards and backwards. So for example, oh man, this is going to be tricky. If this was, wow, this is not working. 1, 2, 3, 2, 1, that would be a valid palindrome, because whichever direction you read it from, 1, 2, 3, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3, 2, 1, the digits are the same. So that's how that works. So let's try, can I just delete all of that? Yes. Okay, next is a region sum line. So if this is going to be tricky. So a region sum line, let's say that was a region sum line. What it's saying is the digits in each region on the line. So for example, those 2 digits would have the same sum as those 2 digits, which would have the same sum as that digit. Because within each of these boxes is called a region. So region 1, region 2, region 3, region 4, region 5, region 6, region 7, region 8, region 9, because Sudoku English-ish, and we normally count top to bottom, left to right. So in this region, the sum of those, this is the 2 digits on the line in this region. This is the 3 digits on the line in this region. This is the 1 digit on the line in this region. All of these, this must have the same sum as those, have the same sum as those. Is there anything about what happens if a region line re-enters a region? No, it doesn't. So hopefully that doesn't happen. Okay, Renban line, which are normally pink. A Renban line must contain a set of non-repeating consecutive digits in any order. So if this was a line, it could contain the digits 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So because if you were to take the digits, so if I could make this 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6, and that would be fine because I could take the digits off the line and sort them, and 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is a run of consecutive digits. If I was to make the 6 a 7, for example, this wouldn't be a valid Renban line because if I was to take the digits off and sort them, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 is not a run of digits. So this would not be a valid Renban line. Okay. German whispers, which are normally green, and the way a German whispers line works is adjacent digits on a German whisper line must have a difference of at least 5. That's all it means. So those digits would have a difference of at least 5, as would those, as would those. That's how a German whisper line works. And then consecutive pairs. Somewhere in the digit there's probably white dots, and digits separated by a white dot are consecutive. Now there's a line. All lines continue straight at intersections and do not branch. Straight at intersections. I'm not sure what that's supposed to mean. Does that mean that a line can never bend? Because that's not going straight. Or does it mean that a line... I don't know what that means. All lines continue... Hopefully this will reveal itself. All lines continue straight at intersections and do not branch. To me, that means that a line can never bend. Like, a line that's doing that is bending at an intersection. Like, that is a turn. So that's not continuing straight. So does that mean all of these lines, and it's not saying anything about lines not being able to overlap either. So I'm a little curious about what that means. We'll find out together. So I'm going to restart the puzzle to restart my timer. Let's give this a shot. That digit, we know what it is. And why do we know? Any column, row, or box of a Sudoku contains all of the digits from 1 to 9. If you sum all of the digits from 1 to 9, you get 45. So the X sum for this column must contain every digit in the column in order for it to have 45. So that must be a 9. So this is already... So this is a palindrome. This now must be an 8 because these are consecutive. And this line is not continuing straight at intersections. This palindrome line is not continuing straight at intersections. So I don't know what's going on here. So all lines continue straight at intersections is not true. But this must be an 8 by both palindrome and region sum. The region sum, because the palindromes were grey. And this must be a 9 by palindrome. So I don't know what that actually told me. So a 35 means that there is 10 outside. There is 10 outside the sum of the X sum. So the question would be, how can you do 10? This can't be an 8, or I'd have to put 10 here. So this could be 7, 6. If it was 5, it couldn't be 5 because I could do it 10 in 3. I could do 10 in 4 if this was 1, 2, 3, 4. So this actually can be a 5. Ah, I see what's going on. 8 and 9 must be in here. 8 and 9 must be in here by Sudoku. So how do I do this 10x sum? This can't be a 1, because if this was a 1, then it would be just counting itself, and this would be a 1 clue. If this was a 3, it would be counting all 3 of those cells and would include the 8 and the 9. That's a 2. That's very clever. And now those must sum to 10. That's the 8 and that's the 9. That's very cool. I don't understand this all lines continue straight at intersections. I don't understand it at all. This now must be consecutive with 2, so this is 1 or 3. If this was a 1, this would have to be a 2 because there's a consecutive dot here, and the only digit that is consecutive with 1 is 2, and it can't be. So this is 3, and the only thing that is consecutive with 3 is 4, so that's a 4. That was a very nice opening. Now, German whispers. You can never put a 5 on a German whisper line because... there's more, but I'm going to finish what I'm talking about. You can never put a 5 on a German whisper line because if I put a 5 on a German whisper line, first of all, 5 and 9 are only 4 apart. So this has to be low at 4 or lower. So it's 1, 2, 3, or 4, and it can't be 2. Let's just do that, actually. But you can never put 5 on it because in order to have a 5 difference, you have to either add or subtract 5 or more. And if you add 5 or more, you get 10 or higher. If you subtract, you get 0 or lower. Now, this must be a high digit because even if I take the lowest possible digit and add 5 to it, this has to be 6 or higher. So this is 6, 7, 8, or 9. Now, I don't know where this palindrome ends. So this palindrome could wind all the way through the grid. So I can't say that this can't be 6, 7, 8, or 9. But this must be consecutive with 6, 7, 8, or 9. So this is 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9. This could be 8, 9, 8, and this could just be the middle digit, but I don't know. But I do know something about this, because if this was 7, then all of those digits would be counted and those would need to sum to 10, and they don't. If this was 6, all of those would sum to 35 and those would need to sum to 10, but those need sum to 9. That is a 5, and this is the 1 because those sum to 35 and those need to sum to 10. That's very clever. I like that a lot. Now, this is consecutive with 5 and isn't 4, so this is a 6. This is actually a triple now, 7, 8, 9. And this is consecutive with 7, 8, 9, so this is 6, 7, 8, 9 and can't be an 8. But I don't know where these palindromes go. This 19 must... Ooh, that's a bit interesting, isn't it? Because it can't be a 1, or this would just be counting one cell itself and this would have to be a 1. It can't be 2, 3, or 4. It could be 5 and it can't be 6 because the minimum that 6 digits can be, ignoring the 8, is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And if you add those together, you get 21. This must be a 5. And the 5 digits are all of those. But I've already got 13. So those digits are 19 minus 13, which is 6. These are 1, 2, and 3. That's very cool. I like that. There's no 1 in either of those. So that's the 1, which hasn't helped me at all. But this is if this is a 2, this would have to be a 1 or a 3, and it can't be. So this is a 3. This is the end of the palindrome. So it goes 4, 3, 2, 3, 4, and this is the 2. I need to put a 5 in one of those 2, but I don't know how this palindrome is going. These are 6 and 7. But I can't repeat along this. I can't repeat along this line. So that's weird. So that digit isn't this digit. Where is this digit in this box? This digit can't be in its own column. It can't be on its own Renban line, and it's not 2, 3, or 4. That digit goes there, and therefore this isn't a 5. It's also not a 9 or a 7. That's an 8, which means this is an 8. There's no 8 in either of those. That's a 7, 9. That's a 6. That's a 5. And that ends the palindrome. Those are the same digit. But it has to be a 7 because this Renban line has got 5, 6, and 8 on it. So these both have to be 7. That's very cool. Now these are 1, 2, and 3 because I've got 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. These are 1, 2, and 3. But these are a Renban line. So they must be consecutive. And if I didn't have a 2 in here, they'd be 1 and 3, which are not consecutive. Now, this is a low digit, so this has to be a high digit, which is 6, 7, 8, 9. It can't be a 7 for multiple reasons. There's no 7 on here anymore. So this can't, oh no, this can't be a 6. Because if this is a 6, this would be an 8 or a 9. But this could still be, oh, hang on, I know this palindrome. This palindrome is now ended. So this is 8 and 9, which does allow that to be any of 1, 3, 4. But the 7, 8, 9 looks down, making that a 6, which means by German Whisper, 3 is only 3 away and 2 is only 4 away. This is a 1, this is the 2, this is the 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4 and 9 go into those. Now, again, I don't know how long this palindrome is, so I can't actually use the palindrome until I get to the end of it. But this 14, the minimum you can do 14 in, now it can't be a 1 because it'd be a 1. If this was a 3, those two cells would need to sum to 11, which is possible. It could be a 4. It can't be a 5. This is only 3 or 4. If it was a 5, I'd be summing 5 digits, and the minimum 5 digits could be is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is 15. So this is either 3 or 4. But I'm not sure what to do with that. Now, 8, 8 is putting 8 down here in one of those. 9 and 9 is putting 9 down here in one of those. So 9 is included in the 14 total by Sudoku. So if it was 3, 3, 9 would be 12, and it'd have to be 2, 3, 9, which would work. If it was 4, I'd have 4, 9, which is already 13, and I'd need 2 digits summing to 1. It can't be. This must be the 3, and this must be 2, 9. And this palindrome ends there. So this goes 2 and 1. This is the 8. This is the 9. The 14 clue is now done. In fact, I've done all of the X sums now. Consecutive with 2, well, this is a sum line, and those sum to 3, so this must be a 3. The 9 makes that the 4 and that the 9. These, 1, 2, 3, well, the 4 can't go there, so that's the 4, and this is the 5. The 4 looks up saying that is not a 4. This pair of digits, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 7, but I can never put 5 on a German Whisper line. So that's the 7, that's the 5. 7 is only 5 away from 1 or 2, but these digits are 1, 2 and 6. So these are 1, 2, 6. This has to be a 1 or a 2. This has to be a 7 by palindrome, and this has to be 1 or 2. These, 1, 2, 3, 4, 8 and 9, there's no 8 there, there's no 9 there. I mean, it's saying passing through. Maybe this is what it means. This line goes to here and this line goes to here. Maybe that's what it continues straight at intersections. So this line goes to here. So this line isn't doing this, but you can kind of normally assume that anyway. I suspect this is what it's talking about, but you would never do that. You would never have this line then double back to here. You just have the line go straight into that box, but maybe that's what it's referring to. These are the same digit. 7 is not in any of those. Okay. So there's a German Whisper line here. This German Whisper line goes to here. What is this quadruple? 1, 4, 5, 6. Now this can't be a 1 or a 5 because the German Whisper line goes into there. That's what the straight through at intersection. So this is 4 or 6. So this has to be 1 or 9. This can't be 4. This is what it has to be referring to. But this now can be almost anything, except the palindrome continues, but the palindrome could then like bounce to that cell. So I could go 6. Well, this German whisper line has to have at least 2 more cells on it. Or could I end there with 4 or 6? Actually, I could. Could it grow? Because if it grew, it would need to grow by 2 more. Because if I only grew by 1 more, oh no, I could grow the palindrome, but not the German whisper. That could work. Because if I grew the palindrome but not the German whisper, I could do all sorts of things. I think. Although this palindrome can't leave this box. This palindrome must be fully enclosed in this box. It can't get out of this box in any way. So it can't grow another cell. The palindrome can't grow another cell. Because if it does, this digit would need to reappear in this box. This must be a 4 or a 6 and it can't be a 6. That's a 4. And therefore that's a 4. Sorry, that's a 4 and therefore that's a 4. That's really, really mean. But I kind of like it. I do kind of like that. That makes this the 8, this not the 8. This has to be 3 or 5. There's no 4 up here. 4 is in one of those two. Now, these are consecutive. So what is this quadruple? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now, there's no 2 on this dot because 2 doesn't have anything consecutive. So there must be a 6 on this dot because any consecutive dot needs an even and an odd. So there's no 6 in those. There's no 7 here. And the 5 makes that the 2. So this is 5, 6, 7. I can take the 2 out of here and there must be a 6 on this. There's no 7 there. So there must be a 6 on this. So this sums to either 11 or 13. So that can't be a 1. The 1 is up here and not there because of that 1. That's not the 1. That's the 1, which means this is the 3. So does that allow me to lock this in? Because if this is 5, 6, this would be 5, 6, and that would work. If this is 5, 7, sorry, if this is 6, 7, and 13, this couldn't be 6, 7, and it couldn't be 5, 8. No, this has to be... This can't be 13. If this was 6, 7, and 6, 5 would need 8 and 6 would need 7. It doesn't work. So this is 5, 6. There's no 7 there. This is 5, 6. That's the 7. 5, 6 means this is 5, 6, and that lines up with the 5, 6. The 5 makes this the 6, and this, oh, it's a palindrome. I could have got it just from palindrome. I didn't even think of the palindrome. This is 5 and this is 6. The 5 makes that the 3. The 9 looks down, making that the 4 and that the 9. And now 4 is in one of those two. Think about your palindromes if you're going to do it right. This is an 8 because I can't put 8 in there. And this is a 1 or a 2. And the 2 looks across, making that the 1, which makes that the 2, which makes that the 2, which takes 2 out of both of those. The 1 looks down, making that the 6 and that the 1. The 9 looks across, making that the 7 and that the 9. These, well, I need to put a 1 in, and I'm not putting it there. So this is the 1, this is the 3. These digits, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. These are 2 and 5, and the 5 makes that the 2 and that the 5, which means that's the 6, which means that's the 7 and that's the 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 7 go in. That 7 makes that the 4 and that the 7. And now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 go into those, but I've got a 7 right there. So that's the 6 and that's the 7. In this column, 1 and 5. And I've got a 1 there, so that's the 5 and that's the 1. And in here, I need to put 2, 3, and 4. There's a 2 and a 4 in row 1 already, so that's the 3. Take out the 3, and then I'll use that 4 to make that the 2 and that the 4. And that is the solution to Glowworms by Froggy. Froggy munched away a bunch of glowworms. Okay, this is why the straight through at intersections rule existed. Yeah, okay, I can accept it. And I got a bit bogged in the weeds with the sum lines rather than that. Yeah, this was cool. I liked it. This was a lot of fun. I liked the way that I particularly liked I think my favorite part of this puzzle was where does this cell go in box 6? I like that. That was good. But the X sum opening was very cool. Every part of this was fun. And that all of the constraints were used just enough that you weren't sitting there going, what? They were just, yeah, very, very nicely done. Good frog puzzle. Very, very nice. Thank you, Froggy, for the puzzle. Thank you, Full Deck and Missing a Few Cards, for sending these through. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Please comment below with what you thought of this one. Sorry about not putting all the rules above, but it would have just been a complete nightmare. Yeah, hope you're enjoying the series. And as always, good luck with your solving.